What's up YouTube, Jeff back again from DopeTechDaily.com, and today I'm bringing you guys a follow-up video on a video I did about a week ago talking about the Android 8.0 Oreo beta for the Galaxy S8 and the S8 Plus. Now I talked about some of the big features that came to the S8 and the S8 Plus in the Oreo update, but a lot of people had some questions that they wanted answered, so I figured I would make another video, and that's mainly because earlier this week Samsung pushed out the Oreo Beta 2 update, which actually adds in some new features. So actually here in the US, they just pushed it yesterday, and this is actually the changelog right here. Second beta software pushed out on November 13th. It hit the UK and a few other places a couple days ago. So there's a couple new features I want to show you guys, and I also want to talk about some of the bugs that are on the Oreo beta right now and some of the little annoying things that hopefully don't make their way to the stable version, but we'll see. Also, if you're curious, here in the US, Samsung actually stopped the rollout of this particular beta update because it was causing a lot of crashing with the phone app and also not allowing people to get cellular service. I actually grabbed the beta before they stopped pushing it out. You can see right here in the Samsung Members app, they said that they're going to start pushing the beta again, but they don't know when. So I'll try to keep you guys up to date on that on Twitter. Right now, you can see I don't have my SIM card in here. That's because I also had those issues with it crashing. There's a little workaround to fix that, and I actually wrote about it over on Gadget Hacks. I'll drop the link below if you guys are in the beta and you want to, if you got beta 2 and you want to try to fix the crashing issue. So first, let's talk about a couple of the features I didn't mention in my first video. The first one that a lot of people were interested in is colored media notifications, which were a big deal in Oreo on the Pixel devices. You can see those have made their way here. Spotify right there, listening to my tunes. You can see you've got the colored notifications in the notification tray. A very nice little feature and something that a lot of people were asking about. The next thing that a lot of people were asking about was the YouTube zoom feature that allows you to do full screen. Now, this is something that's going to annoy people because that feature is no longer there. As you can see right here, there's no longer a little toggle on the side to actually zoom this in all the way so that it fills the entire infinity display on the Galaxy S8 or S8 Plus. There's also no pinch to zoom. So the Pixel has a pinch to zoom feature which will allow you to zoom in like this. That feature does not exist here. So you can see here, pinch to zoom doesn't work at all. A couple people have said that in their Beta 2 update that they've been able to get this to work. I have not. As you guys can see, I am running the Beta 2. So if we go into About Phone, I'll show you that so that you guys can see that I'm not in fact lying to you. This is in fact the correct version number and everything for Beta 2 that I just showed you in the screenshot earlier. So I'm running Beta 2 and there's no pinch to zoom. I don't know why Samsung got rid of that. I can only think that they might be preparing for the stable version to have pinch to zoom. It works fine on the Pixel, obviously, the Pixel 2 XL, but not on this device. So that's something a lot of people were interested in. A couple other things that people were interested in is the camera, and I did want to mention this because it is an annoying change to me. You can see right here at the top row of toggles in the camera app now, you've got a full view mode, which actually lets you take a full screen picture using the entire infinity display. However, you'll also notice what's missing is the HDR toggle. Samsung decided to bury that inside of the settings menu. So now in order to toggle HDR on and off, you've got to go into the camera settings and then you can turn it on auto on or off here. You can set it for the rear camera and also for the front camera independently of one another from in settings. I think it's a real shame that they decided to bury it that way. This is actually the same camera UI that's on the Galaxy Note 8. So here's my Note 8 so you guys can just see a little bit of a comparison between the two. There's the Note 8. If I put it into full view mode, you can see they've got the exact same camera UI, the Galaxy S8 running Oreo and the Galaxy Note 8. So that is an improvement in that it's got the full view display, but you also lose the HDR toggle at the top, which I think is a real shame. Another bug that I wanted to mention I didn't get to talk about last time is actually if you press down on the home screen and go into home screen settings, you'll notice that there is no option to stop new apps from adding icons to the home screen. So this option used to be available in the Play Store. So when you go to the Play Store, you used to be able to go into settings and you would have an option to either add a new app icon to the screen every time you install or not do that. You can see that option is no longer here with the new version of the Play Store that comes with the Oreo version by default. And then Samsung also did not add that into their own home screen settings. So this has been a pretty big problem. Now you can't stop new apps from adding an icon to the home screen. So even if you don't want those icons there, they're going to pile up. And as you can see, mine are starting to pile up over here as I've installed a few new apps. One of the problems I had on the first beta, which is actually fixed in beta 2, is that Bixby Home now works. It was crashing for me a lot on the original beta, but it seems to be working fine now. It just takes a little longer than usual to load, but I can swipe over and it doesn't crash. Another cool feature that I noticed on the lock screen, and I wrote about over at Gadget Hacks, is if you look at the lock screen here, you'll notice that the clock itself is actually colored, and so the clock is colored to match your background. So you can see this one is actually a very light yellow. It's kind of hard to tell with this particular one, but if you look at some of the pictures I posted over on Gadget Hacks, you can see the pink background that I did there. It's very easy to see that the clock has a nice little shade of pink, and you can kind of see the yellow there, just a very light yellow that matches the yellow in the wallpaper. Now another thing you can do is you can double tap the clock and it will show you the seconds on the lock screen from the Lockscreen Clock. It's a little subtle touch, but it's something nice to see. Another thing you guys might notice here is that my notifications on the lock screen have some transparency to them. This is a new feature in the beta 2 update. If you go down to lock screen and security and then go into notifications down here, you'll find a new option to toggle the transparency. So at the top it shows you a preview. That's what mine look like on the lock screen right now. You can turn them to completely transparent. I don't recommend that because it's only going to work with a solid black wallpaper. It doesn't look very readable. You can see this is completely clear and it's pretty hard to read even on this particularly simple wallpaper. If you've got a completely black wallpaper, this might be a great option, but otherwise I would probably leave the transparency somewhere in the middle, maybe a little bit to the right if you want them a little more transparent than not. So that's definitely something cool that was added in this beta update. Another thing that was added is the always on display options. So if you turn on the always on display, then you can actually go in and check out some new always on display clocks. So you can see you can turn on home button and clock, clocker information, etc. And then of course you can actually go into the clock and face widgets and then choose a clock style. So there have been some new clock styles added in this particular update. You can see there's a whole bunch of clock styles to choose from here at the bottom now. Some of these are still from the old version, but some of these are also new. You can also see here that at the very end you have the option to customize your always on display using a custom Samsung theme always on display that's been added to the end there. And then you can also see here that when you have the edge clock displayed, it doesn't show any of the face widgets. So there are some new clock options. You can customize all of those using the color here, so you can actually match the clock on the always on display, whatever color you want, just to personalize it a little bit more. So some nice little options. You can also choose a different clock on the always on display versus the lock screen. You can choose to do whichever one you want. You can also tune the color a little bit. So if you don't like the color matching, you can tune that a little bit in here as well. You'll also notice in here that the adaptive color option that I was showing you before, that toggle right here to match your wallpaper and your clock to the same color is given right here inside clock and face widgets. All right, so those are some of the new features. I've talked about most of the bugs that are a little bit annoying. The HDR mode, the YouTube not zooming in, the icon toggle missing, which is a little annoying to me. I haven't noticed too many force closing of apps. Android Auto doesn't work very well for me at all. I keep getting errors. A lot of people have reported this. I'm going to try it some more with the beta 2 and see how it works, but I'm still seeing errors with Android Auto. There's a couple of other bugs people have noticed with WhatsApp and a few other popular messaging apps, so I'll definitely look into that as well. Battery life, this is my first cycle on the beta 2, so not much new to report on that. On beta 1, the battery life was quite a bit worse than on Nougat, but we'll see as we go along how things progress. So again, this is just a couple of new features, but I wanted to report some of those bugs and also clarify a few things for you guys. One last thing that I just forgot. In this new update, you can see that the Google apps now have adaptive icons. So you can see that they actually have taken the little border away. In the beta 1 update, if you guys go back and look at my first video, it had a little cutout around the actual app icon. Here you can see that they're all sort of those rounded off corners, and there is no sort of cutout. You've got the overlay of the icon on top of the transparent part using the adaptive icon framework from the Android Oreo update that Google implemented. All right, guys, so that is a look at some of the features that is in the Android Oreo Beta 2. Also a look at some of the bugs. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like, subscribe, hit the notification icon below. You guys can find me at dopetechdaily.com, Google+, Instagram, and Twitter. The link's in the description. Also find me writing at gadgethacks.com. I really appreciate any feedback you guys have. If you're using the beta, please drop me a comment below to let me know how it's going for you. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.